राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Shama Sundara, Radha Shama Sundara, Radha Shama Sundara, Radha Shama Sundara. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vivraj Kajar Astotra Sata Srimati Divine Jesi Bhakti Vedanta Sanskopad Ki Jai. Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vivraj Kajar Astotra Sata Srimati Divine Jesi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामाई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हिताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सुर ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद तिरुपा महामहोत्सव की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtai Bhutre Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pachachadestarane. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining for today's Sunday Feast program. Anyone coming first time? So thank you for coming. I think there are a couple of devotees coming back from India trip. Welcome back. I think Sandeep Prabhu was there. I think or Monish Prabhu was there, and one more devotee, I forget. But welcome back. So today's topic is being given by Madhubhat Prabhu is who am I? So that is the topic, part of the science of self-realization. Some of you might have heard or known. Very simple topic seemingly, but it's deep and profound because we are not, practically speaking, it's very difficult to actually act on that platform. So that's when it comes to play, whether we really understood or whether we are thinking that we know this subject. So yeah, it's an important topic. So let's chant this verse and then we'll try to go in it inside. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। तत्र न मुह्यति। Word to word. It was already 6:50. So, Dehina of the embodied, Asmin, in this, Yada, as, Dehe, in the body, Kaumaram, boyhood, Yavanam, youth, Jara, old age, Tata, similarly, Dehantara, of transference of the body, Prapti, achievement, Dhira, the sober, Tatra, thereupon, Na, never, Muhyati, is deluded. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youthhood to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Repeat. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. We'll try to understand. Om Ajnanatamidandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denatarina Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhayeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai. So in this topic of Yamai, there are number of topics in science of self-realization. The first one is search of happiness. Everybody is looking for happiness. Nobody is looking for distress or problems, difficulties. Nobody wants to leave this body. Nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to live. So this is the natural state of the actual living entity. So in the introduction, it is the first topic of the science of self-realization is search of happiness. So where inquiries must be done of what is the purpose of human life. And then later on it goes on, what is the goal of human life? Why we are suffering? So these are some of the questions, part of the search of happiness category. And since deriving sense happiness is not all in all. All these topics are covered under that search for happiness in the introduction, first topic of science of self-realization. Then the second one covers, does God exist? What is the scripture? Where it describes whether God exists or not. So elaborate details on that topic. That is the second topic. And then the third topic is this, who am I? So are we the jiva? Are we the soul? Are we the body? If it is body, what body? Gross body, subtle body, karma body, yatna body, what body we are? What's happening actually with us? So where it is passing? So are we the soul? So how living entity is going through in their evolution? So that's what we'll try to cover on the basis of Bhagavad Gita. So this is not just only Bhagavad Gita. Just like the chanting of the holy name also, sometimes we take it very lightly. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get time. From Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Goswami Prabhupada is giving very, very serious instructions on that subject matter, on the association, on chanting of the holy name, how to be consistent in our sadhana, in our behaviors, in our cultures, in our learning. Otherwise, how we fall prey to Maya very easily. Whether you are just beginners or 20, 30 years, 40, 50 years in this moment, doesn't matter. So that's why it's a very deep subject in this. I'm not qualified, but we'll try to seek the mercy from Sri Prabhupada and Guru, previous acharyas, and try to understand this topic. So this is there in PhD level in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Sanatana Goswami is asking the same questions. Who am I? Sanatana Goswami is the associate of Srimati Radharani. But still he's asking these questions. That means you can understand the subject matter. There are 4 verses Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20, verse number 100 to 103, where Sanatana Goswami is asking Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ke am I, jare tapatre, iha nahi jani ke mane ita hoy. So who am I? Why I am suffering? 3 modes of material nature, 3 kinds of sufferings, Adi Atmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. Suffering from our own body, mind, suffering from other living entities, suffering from demigods, so natural catastrophes. So and further he is saying, Iha nahi jani ke mane hita hoy. I don't know what I should do, and so I don't know what's supposed to be done, how I can come out of this. Please tell me. This is Sanatana Goswami is asking. He's asking before that, Apanare hita kichu na jani, gramya vyavahara pandite te satyamani. Everybody calls me as Pandit. I am also thinking like that. I am also scholar. Sanatana Goswami, this is, you can understand how deep it is. Apanara hita ahita kichuna. But even though I think I am scholar, but I don't know what I should do. What is good for me, what is not good for me, I don't know. So then he is further saying, कृपा करी यदि मोरे करी आचे उद्धार, please shower your mercy and deliver this conditioned soul. Apana krupate kaha kartavya amar. What is my duty? Who am I? Why am I suffering? What exactly I am supposed to do in this life? Further is asking the fourth verse. Sadhya sadhana tattva puchila na jani, krupa kari sabha tattva kahata apani. I don't know what is the sadhya, what is the goal, what to attain in this life, and how to attain it. Sadhya and sadhana. Sadhana is practice, application, and sadhya is ultimate goal, where you want, what you want to attain. But I don't know both of them. Tattva puchila na jani. I don't know. Krupa kari, please shower your mercy. Sabha tattva. I may not be. I don't know what to ask also. So you have to please shower your mercy and explain detailedly all these tattvas. So you can. This is the Sanatana Goswami's instructions from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. Whole instruction, Sanatana Siksha. All the 6 Goswamis have their own Sikshas. All 6 Goswamis. Each one its own elaborate topic. Especially Rupa and Sanatana Siksha is very, very elaborate topics. So that's a PhD study. So you can understand how deep this subject matter is. Now, so what is the context in Bhagavad Gita, in this verse we are referring to, and especially who am I? The context we will see in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, observing the armies on the battlefield, are also called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So what's going on in today's world with us also, same thing going on as in the case of Arjuna. He is seeing his own kinsmen, his own family members, and he is identified. And he is in the identity crisis, in one sense, to be called in a modern language, identity crisis. That means he couldn't recognize, he forgot that he is the spirit soul. He forgot that he is the constitutional position as servant of Krishna. So he forgot he is a Kshatriya Dharma, everything he forgot. Immediately identified with the body. Immediately identified with the extended family. All this. So that's why in the 27th verse, 26th or 25th, we'll see that Arjuna is asking, bring my chariot in front of the Bhishma and Drona in between the armies so that I can see who and all are assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Then as soon as he saw, immediately he speaks in the 27th verse, Krupaya Paraya Visto Visidantam. So he is becoming lamenting. Krupaya becomes compassionate. At the same time, his mouth is drying and his Gandiva is falling, and then completely is don't know what to do. He couldn't recognize, he couldn't understand what's supposed to be done, whether to renounce and go to forest. Then he gives reasons, 5 reasons why I don't want to fight. Because of compassion, I don't want to fight. Because there is no enjoyment, I don't want to fight. Because sinful activity, I don't want to fight. So like this, so many reasons he is giving in the introduction. And it is giving the glimpse of the material nature. Not only that, it is giving how we are blind. How we are blind in especially not only materially, but also spiritually. That is the biggest problem. We are very consistent in our home duties. We are very consistent in our job duties. No one goes to office at their own time. 9 to 5 we go, pretty much. Or here and there, maybe 8 to 4, 9 to 5. But there is a particular time. You cannot go at your own time. There is a specific standard set in the office, you go at that time. And you finish your project duties also. Otherwise, what's going to happen, we all know. This is the material duties. But what is going to happen? What's happening actually? Is this the permanent thing? Then when it comes to the permanent situation, what are we doing about it? So that's why this question has to be asked very deeply. Every day we have to ask this question. Am I doing on this body activities? Am I focusing on the activities of the soul? What exactly I am doing? So that's why we have to ponder upon this. So in Bhagavad Gita, as we see in this chapter 1 of the situation of Arjuna and seeing the situation of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana completely, and Drushtvad Pandavanikam Vyodham Duryodhanastata Raja Vachanam Abravit. Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. So Dhritarashtra is blind materially, but he is spiritually also blind. So that is the biggest problem. So when we are spiritually blind, we'll be focusing very much, we'll be very consistent when it comes to the gross, material, bodily, sense duties. But when it comes to the actual reality, real thing, we pretty much neglect. If at all, if we don't neglect, we follow, but we are not consistent. So that is causing a great delay in attaining our goals, real goal. And we are not serious. We are not crying. We are not lamenting. So this is the precarious condition, actually. We are not afraid, to put it in right blunt. We are not afraid. If we are afraid, we will not do that. If we are afraid, we know that if we go to job, we go late or we don't deliver, we are very much afraid of who's going to pay otherwise mortgage. We'll be very much afraid. But when it comes to the core duties, we are not afraid. We are very callous. So that's why this subject matter is very deep, very profound. Dear friends, dear devotees, this is spoken by Prabodha Ananda Saraswati. He's talking. How much humbly we have to submit to the authority, spiritual master, Sri Prabhupada, the previous acharyas. Dante Nadaya Tranaya Padayor Nipatya Kakusatam Bravimi He Sadava Sakalam Eva Vihaya Dora Chaitanya Chandra Charane Kurutanu Ragam. Taking a straw in the mouth, Prabodhananda, a great acharya, is submitting himself. How we have to submit to the authority in this humble mode to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the authority, then maybe we will start crying, we will start taking seriously. Otherwise, there is no possibility. Otherwise, it will be a situation of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, blind-sided, day after day, blind-sighted in spiritual duties, again and again, day after day, whiplashed by Maya, again and again. Still, we are not waking up. This will be the problem. Not only this life, but we have done many lifetimes. No fear, no lamentation. Rather, opposite lamentation is going on here. In first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna is lamenting. So that's why in chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita begins. Now you are in the situation of identity crisis. You are not able to understand your real position. You forgot your duty. Then he submitted to the authority. So then once Arjuna surrenders to Krishna in 2.7, and then Lord Krishna starts speaking, chastising, initially mildly chastising, then he submits as authority, then he really chastises. Asochanana sochastam prajna vadancha vase agata suncha gata sunanu sochanti pandita. You are speaking like learned words, but isn't like, just like King Rahu Gana. That's why you have to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. You have to hear. But there is no interest. This is the problem. So when you hear in Srimad Bhagavatam, King Rahu Gana is also thinking like us, very intelligent, very smart. He's chastising who is carrying the palanquin. He is actually real Pandit, real scholar, self-realized soul. That is Bharat Maharaj, acting as deaf and dumb in this third life, after becoming a deer and deer becoming a next life Brahmana. And he is carrying the palanquin and he is not holding properly as he sees the ants and he is jumping and walking. And then king chastises. He is thinking, he is ordinary, just a worker. Why is he not following my direction? I am going to punish you like anything. You don't know who I am. Then that's when he opens the mouth. This Bharat Maharaj opens the mouth and started speaking, instructing. Then King Rahugana thought, no, what you are saying is incorrect. You are saying the soul and the body. You are saying the soul is different from the body. Soul has higher duty. This is absorption. Water is no, it is incorrect. King Rahugana is a king, great king, but he is speaking that he gives an example also that if you put milk and rice in the milk and you heat up, not only milk heats up, rice also heats up. So what are you saying? That this absorption is not there for the soul. When somebody hits you, that you will not feel it. No, what you are saying is incorrect. So this is what it happens with us also. So that's why here Krishna chastises. You are also acting like Rahugana. You're acting on this as a learned Pandit, but really you're not actually operating on that platform. So that's the first verse he speaks in this third verse, 2.13. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tada dehantar prabh dera satana muhyati. The example Prabhupada gives, very nice example. Actually, we are, so just like apartment, actually, Dehinaha means who is the possessor of this body? Are we the body? No. Somebody is possessing this body. Who is that? Spirit soul is possessing this body currently. Dehinaha. We are not the proprietor. We are the occupier. When you go into apartment, what is happening? We are the tenant. We are not the proprietor. We are not the landlord. So, and we are changing apartments. Depending on how much you pay, according to your capacity, you are changing apartments. Sometimes luxury, sometimes small apartment. Accordingly, you are getting the various amenities and benefits to do with it. Same way, depending on how much, what kind of religious activities, karma kanda, fruitive activities, pious, impious, according to your capacity of previous life, then you are getting also certain type of body. The actual proprietor, supreme proprietor here is Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Supreme Lord is the proprietor. We are not the proprietor. We are only currently possessing so this current body. So that's the Dehinosmin yata dehe. So these apartments we are constantly changing, and the same way we are changing many bodies. We are changing various lives from all the way from aquatics all the way up to human beings. 9 types of living entity forms are there. Jalaja, Navalakshan, Stavaran, Lakshman. So going from that one lower stage, gradual evolution. But when we come to human being stage, it's very rare to get. That's why we have to utilize it very carefully. So just like we are changing this apartment, we are also changing these bodies. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. So that's we are changing this body, just like apartment we are changing. We are changing from boyhood to youthhood to old age, and then we are giving up this body and taking up another body. So that is the instruction from this specific verse, especially what's happening with this body. So when we give up this body, so what body is made up of, just like apartment is made up of what? Earth, water, fire, air, the brick, cement, concrete, water. Same way, this body is gross body. This is called gross body. What we have, the soul is encaged in this gross body. This gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Same way the apartment is also made. In the same way the car also. When we are driving the car, same thing is happening also. Car also has the headlights. Car also has the mind, intelligence, false ego. At least the mind. The what you call the dashboard or the signals coming from the electronic whatever you call that technological thing, which is connecting all the things together and sending, making the whole instrument work. This is body is like instrument. So in this way, so the car also has these eyes. You have the headlights, and then you have the tongue, like you're putting the petrol. So then we are also using the tongue, mouth to feed in, and then body is working. Same way, in this way, the body is working in this way. And when we are changing, and as per our capacity, pious creative, we are getting this body. So when this is gross body, and then we have subtle body. Daytime, we are trying to enjoy this gross body. In nighttime, what's happening? In nighttime, we are enjoying subtle body. Gross body is lying down on the bed or lying down on the floor. The subtle body, what's happening with subtle body? Subtle body, with subtle body, we are trying to enjoy. During daytime, we are trying to enjoy gross body. In the nighttime, while sleeping, we are enjoying subtle body. In dream, where some tiger is killing, or we are with someone enjoying nicely, we went somewhere, or we're watching something, we're drinking something. So some enjoyment. Sometimes distress also, somebody is killing us. So somebody is slapping us, whatever the case may be, both happiness, distress. Through subtle body, we are feeling that in the night time. So daytime, night time, both, but we are not realizing it. So this is what is happening. So when we give up this body, what's happening? When we give up this body, what's happening? What type of body we are getting? Where are we going? Is this life all in all? Because sometimes people think that we got this human life, this is it. We have to enjoy till our last breath. This one life we have to enjoy. So that is mentioned, I think, in the Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's. There's a one pastime story he gives. If we are not in the association, right? Association. If we don't take association, so what happens? Anyway, when we give up this body, the gross body is finished. And then the subtle body, mind, intelligence, false ego, carries on to the next body. There it is mentioned that in one of the Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's books, he wrote commentary on 4 acharyas, 4 bona fide acharyas, writing on their commentary on their philosophy. All the 4 great acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Vishnu Swami, 4 acharyas from Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya, 4 Sampradaya. He written a book. So there in that book is quoting under Madhvacharya. When we give up this body, we get Yatana body. Yatana body, if you have engaged in irreligious activities, we go to hell. Yatana body is like a subtle body. So above the subtle body. Subtle body is always there when we are in the material sphere. Whether we go to Brahma Loka or downward Loka, any material universe, wherever you are, whatever type of body you have, a Brahma body, Indra body, any demigod body, still a living entity, still a human being. So you still have a Yatana body. So you enjoy or you suffer. Both times you are taking up a subtle body. On top of it, just like when you are on the earthly planet, you got a gross body made of these 5 elements. When you give up this body, then you take Yatana body covered on top of the subtle body, and you go, body is taken to hell by the Yamadutas. There, suffering will be given, and then they will put through to that subtle situation, depending on type of body in future, what you are going to get. That is the accordingly they will give that suffering. So naturally, you will be easily taking that kind of body in the next life. So that is the Yatana body. And the same suffering, if you want to enjoy, you will go to the higher planets also, because it is mentioned already. In higher planets, as you go up, body is made more subtle. On the earthly planet, we have gross body. When you go down, more and more gross, less subtle, or no subtle body. Lower planets, 14 planetary systems. And then Madhvacharya quotes Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur mentioning that this gross body, when at the time of one day of Brahma is over, there is night time of Brahma, Kalpa, day of Brahma, night time of Brahma. So that one day, it is called one Kalpa, one day and one night. So one night, what happens at the end of day of Brahma, this body is given up. These living entities who are not liberated, they goes back to the abdomen of Mahavishnu. What type of body they are getting? There it is mentioned karma body. You are getting the karma body. That karma body is 2 types. The karma body which is going into the abdomen of Mahavishnu is very subtle. Just like the demigods have in higher planets, as subtle body. Same way, this karma body which is entering the abdomen of Mahavishnu during the time of partial annihilation has karma body. And when it comes back, then who's actually giving this body? It's not Lord Brahma. There it is mentioned, Madhvacharya quoting. Lord Aniruddha is the one who's giving this karma body for that living entities. When the second day of Brahma starts, Lord Aniruddha is giving this karma body. And when he gives, it is not going to be subtle. If he is supposed to be coming to the earthly planet, he will get his gross body. Even though it is called karma body, but it is grosser. But when he enters in the night time into the abdomen of Mahavishnu, then he is getting the subtle karma body entering into abdomen. So this is the difference, you see. So we have the gross body covered with subtle body, and then the spirit soul is there on top of it. And then when we give up this body, then subtle body is carrying on, mind, intelligence, false ego, subtle body consists of. So that's why mind is the above the senses. It grabs on all the whatever we did the whole life. and that is all there in that mind is filled up with all anarthas and everything, good, bad, everything is there. So that's why mind must be purified and intelligence must be sharpened so that mind is under the control. Senses are under the control. Otherwise, we cannot, will not be able to actually consistently do any spiritual activities because mind is dictating us, do this, do that. So that is this is what is happening on the platform of body. So that's why on this, after this verse, what is Krishna saying? On this verse, when you are changing, what is going to happen? Anybody likes to see the change in the office? Whenever big change happens, everybody is some frustration, some thought process going on. So that is there, even in the material activities. Same thing here. So that's why Krishna is saying here after this verse, Matra Sparsastu Kaunte Sitoshna Sukotokada Agam Paino Anityas Tam Titiksha Bharata. Tolerate. No other way. You must tolerate. You have to tolerate very much. So then further Krishna is mentioning, so na asato bhavo vidyate sata, na abhavo vidyate sata. Where Krishna is talking about this body there is no endurance. It is temporary in nature. But for soul, there is no change. Soul is always fixed. This absorption there on the purport of Rahugana's pastime, where Prabhupada is mentioning, yes, what Rahugana mentioned, practically speaking, it is correct. But in reality, this is happening, that absorption. When somebody is sitting in the car, he makes an accident, immediately he is into lamentation. He is thinking, oh, why did this happen to me? What has happened to me? Now I have to buy another car. What not? Absorption on the body. Immediately absorbed, he is thinking like I'm the car, I'm the body. So this is due to the absorption. But the real self-realized soul, this is not a theory, this is not a mythology. So Prabhupada in his own life, if you see, one time he was there in car. Brahmananda Prabhu is there and four other disciples, three other disciples. So he's going in a big car. Suddenly when they took a turn, right turn, then some other car came, direct collision. It was a big accident. When everybody came out, everybody is completely in a different state. Prabhupada didn't utter a word. He didn't change. He was very composed, very grave. No change in his behavior, in his composure, no change. This is the action of a self-realized soul. This is one past. Second pastime also you will hear from Krishna Maharaj. When he's going in the aeroplane, completely dropped, is about to, basically everybody is going to die. That was the situation. That time also, they came and to Prabhupada, you are okay. This moment, what is the need of lamenting? Death can come at any time. Only Krishna can protect. So what is the need to lament? He is completely composed. He was not afraid. So this is the personality who is there on the platform of the soul, selfless. Those who are, that's why Prabhupada is mentioning that absorption will come when we are acting, when we are not consistent with spiritual duties, when we don't perfect, when we don't have fear, then obviously is there. Obviously the absorption will be there. Because we are absorbed in day after day, consistent with material duties, but we forget our spiritual duties. So that's why we have to take the association of devotees very carefully and we have to hear. Especially those who are following, then we have to follow them. Those who are following consistently day after day, at this time you have to do this. That's it. No matter what, you have to do it. That's it. There is no question about it. So Prabhupada's life you look at. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Prabhupada's life you look at. On time, exactly. Same time, whether he's traveling or not traveling, wherever he is, same time he's doing everything. Waking up or chanting, reading, hearing, translation, same time. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur also. So, few days we may miss, but ideally we should follow. We should be putting reminder on the cell phones, on our walls, wherever we are. We have to be constantly reminded. That's why this external process is there to put the tilak. Remind you are not this body. Every time you put tilak, you say this explicitly. You are not this body. You are the spirit soul. You are the servant of Krishna. Unless we tell the mind that we are the spirit soul, we are the servant, our main duty, prime duty is to serve Krishna through Guru, through Acharya, through devotees. This must never be forgotten. Then we will try to become consistent in our operation of spiritual activity. Otherwise, we will never become consistent. We become very we become lax in our spiritual duties because of this absorption on this material body and material duties and material activities. So that's why here Krishna is mentioning, and then he's giving the characteristic of the soul, characteristics of the soul, where he's mentioning about na hanyate hanyamane sarire. And then he's giving also the soul cannot be burned, soul cannot be withered, soul cannot be divided, soul cannot be moistened, soul cannot be dried. You cannot do anything with the soul. So that's why Prabhupada gives also this example that of the Bharat Maharaj later on also, where Prabhupada is explaining that because of the absorption, we forgot what we have done, past, present, future. We don't take carefully because we have past. That's why we are in this condition. And then at the same time, we forget what's going to happen in the future, what type of body we are going to get. We are already based on our activities, we are going to get future body. But we are not really careful enough that we are not afraid of that future body. Na veda purvam aparam bhavet nasta janma spruta yatha. In Canto 6, in Ajamil's pastime, Prabhupada, Lord Krishna is speaking. So Sukadeva Goswami is speaking, and where Prabhupada is giving in the purport, Nasta Janma Spruta. We forgot already. Just like we're dreaming in the night time, we dream, and then as soon as dream is over, we forgot what is there in the dream. Maybe we'll remember for a few minutes, sometimes we may remember, but we forget. And we go back. Same way, we are forgetting what has happened in the past life. We are forgetting what is going to happen in the future, what life we are going to get. We become careless in the duties of the spirit soul. So this is what is happening with us. So that's why we have to understand, who am I? We are the spirit soul, and we have a constitution position of serving Krishna. That is our actual original duty. Jiver Swarupe Nityar Krishna Das. Already 7:25. I haven't covered the topic, but let me read, especially because of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's Tirubhav. Let me read about the to be consistent in the practice. One thing is talking about chanting the holy name. How we have to chant? As soon as you wake up, you wash your hands and mouth, immediately you start chanting. And before you sleep, you chant. Whole day, as you get time, you should chant. You should never leave chanting. We should take it very seriously. Those who neglect chanting the holy name, taking very lightly, they won't be able to actually make much progress. So they won't be able to move up in this absorption of this material body. So it's talking about on this chanting. During the day, remain busy in service. Due to the other engagements, you might not chant, but that should be your lakshya aim. If sometimes you are too busy during the day to chant on your mala, then instead of taking rest at night, chant. If you cannot finish your prescribed japa, then sleep less and chant. Do not increase your time for sleeping. Increase your chanting. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Always chant the holy name. Wake up with the holy name, go on chanting throughout the day, and go to sleep with the holy name. If you practice this naturally, you will also chant while sleeping. This is what is happening with Srila Prabhupada. So one pastime was there, where when they put the ear to the body of Prabhupada, they were hearing Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So because 24/7 is thinking, chanting of the holy name. So that's why it is very important to take this seriously. Further, he is mentioning in another place, why are you chanting Harinam so much? One Pandit asked. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur replied with an exemplum that a young child first learns to write ABC. If when older he is writing ABC in an algebra equation, his grandmother may ask, why is he still studying at the same level as when he was 5 years old? She does not see that what happens to be the same exercise is actually on a significantly higher platform. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur explained, chanting Hare Krishna is postgraduate dharma. Just as you never weary of calling your children's names every day, when we chant the names of Krishna with love, we don't become jaded. Nama Gane Sadaruchi. Devotees are characterized by unceasing taste for reciting the holy name. We want to chant more and more. So you see that serious instruction of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. And also on Alarnath, there is a nice pastime, but we'll stop here, already 7:29. So any one or two questions we can take, anyone has? If not, we'll go to the announcements. Anyone has any questions, comments, corrections? Yes, go ahead, Mataji. This is from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vaibhav, written by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami. Many years ago, we had brought these books. We are distributed here in our temple in MBCC. So at that time, I had given many copies to others. I had kept one copy with me. Very nice book. Deep subject matter though. May not be for beginners, but those who are seriously practicing, they can read and understand. And very high language. It's not easy. Even Bhakti Vikas Maharaj language also